Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how therapy can help you make money, at least more money. Don't take this as financial advice, of course. I was broke until I was 33. Don't take any financial advice from me. I was broke until I was 33. There's my lame rap for the day. But yeah, this is my financial advice, just an explanation, just trying to demystify the process of more I'm retarded of how you can make more money, because I think when you think about therapy and making money, probably what first comes to mind is self-help, law of attraction. Like, you just kind of imagine more money and it flows to you magically. It's not magic. I think visualizing can be important, but it's not going to help you really make money. And then, of course, on the other side of it, you have the fact that the APA, the American Psychological Association, has been taken over by Marxists. That's not a conspiracy. That's true. Of course, they don't know they're Marxists, so they have this negative, but they are Marxists. So they have this negative view of money, and maybe if you make too much, you can make some, I guess, to get by, but after a certain point of making money, like if you make more than, I don't know, 6 figures, well, then you're probably being evil in some way. And nobody really thinks this explicitly, but it's the undercurrent of their beliefs. So I think a lot of guys have some trepidation about going to therapy because they don't want to be some wussy cafe gratitude, moved to Northern California guy wearing too much tie-dye. And they think, oh, if I go to therapy or if I go too much, then I'm going to turn into that. And that's not really the result of therapy. That's the result of poor, improper therapy, either trauma issues that modern therapy just doesn't have the resources to address, or just like a lot of the negative connotations of money. But I think making money is healthy, and of course you can look at some instances where, like Bernie Madoff or the Enron guys, you can make money in unethical ways. Doesn't mean making money itself is unethical. Yes, of course, people can be hurt in relationships. That doesn't mean relationships are unethical. That's obvious. Well, I think some people do take it to that extreme, and that's another issue. So making money is good. This is not financial advice. It's just trying to demystify the process and how therapy can help you perhaps make more money. I'm not saying you're going to be Jeff Bezos or anything. I'm not going to be Jeff Bezos. I simply don't have the organizational capacity. This is just one aspect of making money. And one of those aspects of the main thing you need to do to make money, not to be too obvious here, but the main thing you need to do is to take action. You need to take action out in the world until we become like those races in Star Trek that have evolved beyond the need for a physical body, and they just become rays of light or just pure energy. You need to take action out in the world to make more money. But the good part about that is, because our mind and body are one, when we take action, right, our brain does not stop here in our head. It just goes out to our fingertips, to the tips of our toes. When we take action out in the world, we get something. Inevitably, you get something from action, something beautiful. It's just a question of what do you do with this thing. That thing you get is awareness. Every action gives you some kind of awareness. So let's just take the example, just the most basic way that people make money. Let's say you're 22, just out of college, you're sending out your resume. So you send out 10 resumes in one day, and you get 2 responses back. Now that is some kind of awareness. The question is, what do you do about that? What do you do with that awareness before the next day? And this is the key. Well, you got to refine it. You got to articulate it. You have to really look at that awareness. You probably got awareness as like a blob of, maybe some hope. 2, that's pretty good. Maybe some despondency and some resentment. 8 people just didn't even email me back. That's so disrespectful. So there's a lot of stuff there we need to unpack, as the popular saying goes. let's double click on that. I know that that always really annoyed me. I think saying double click didn't take off for obvious reasons. So the first thing that we do with the awareness is facts. Simply what happened. Okay, so you sent out 10 resumes, you got 2 back. That's one fact. What was in the resume? You know, how did you send it out? What were the companies that sent you a response? What were those responses? You know, it's amazing to me that guys expect to evolve and grow in the world without just going through the facts of their life. Oh, you journaled about it, you meditated on it, that's great. And that's, you know, I'm not saying that's not helpful. We have videos here on this channel about journaling and meditation, but ultimately you need to talk with somebody about it. It could be a therapist, but it could be somebody else, but we really don't become conscious. We don't develop consciousness until we can talk through simply the facts of our life. And then once you talk through the facts of your life with somebody, you know, because guys will be sending out their resumes in isolation for years, never talk with anybody about it, and wonder why they don't grow and they don't make more money. It's like, dude, you're not even aware of what you're doing. I know you think you are. I know you think you are, and that's adorable, but you're not. And then once you have the facts, you go through your feelings about it. Oh, feelings, that's gay. Yeah, it is gay. Feelings are gay, but also it's why we have action. You're not going to do anything unless you care about it. And you're not going to care about anything until you're emotional about it, until you have feelings about it. So you need to just look at the feelings of the facts of what happened. Like I was saying before, maybe you're a little bit hopeful because, hey, you got 2 responses out of 10. Maybe a little bit despondent, maybe resentful. Maybe you feel insecure, like, oh, I'm never going to get a job. And this one guy I know, you know, he got a job right away because he knows somebody, because his dad knew somebody who could get him a job, and he's connected and I'm not, so I'm never going to be successful. Right? And it's just like, I don't have what it takes. I don't have this magical thing that makes you make money. I'm going to now turn to either be despondent and depressed, or maybe turn to the law of attraction, you know, that whole nonsense, to kind of sustain this implicit negative belief about yourself or the world. So you got to at least identify and talk through feelings. And again, this is difficult enough, but if you go years of your life without doing this, good luck. I'm not saying you can't be successful. Of course, guys can't be, but I'm just talking about putting you in a place from which you're going to be more likely to be successful. This is one aspect of it, the psychological aspect of making more money. There's more, like I said, the organizational skills. And then once you have the feelings, let's go through the meaning. What do these feelings mean? What do these facts mean to you? And all we're doing here is just taking your unconscious content and making it more conscious. That's what you do in proper therapy. You take what is unconscious and you make it conscious, so it's less likely to affect you outside of your awareness. So you're more likely to take action, and the action you do take is more refined. A great way to look at meaning, if you don't know where to start, is simply to ask yourself why. At least 3 times. I feel despondent. Why? I guess, you know, because of the example I said before. Because I'm not connected. Well, why aren't you connected? Because my parents are losers. You know, why are your parents losers? Or why do you feel like a loser, right? Because my parents are losers. Or why are your parents losers? That's just how we are. Now the point isn't to get some great insight every time you do this, but at least as you get more comfortable asking yourself why, especially about your response, especially about your feelings, that you have, like, why do you have these feelings? Then patterns emerge. Let's just say that. And this is what we do in therapy. And then once you have the meaning, once you have some of that unconscious content, you know, for good or for ill, we're not judging it. Of course, we're not going to judge it anyway, because this isn't philosophy, this is psychology. Then you go to your responsibility. 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 Not Why did you only get 2 emails back after you sent 10? Not how are you responsible for that? I mean, I think you ultimately are responsible for that. And you know that's the right thing to do, right? You've watched enough Jocko Willink, you've watched enough David Goggins. You know you need to take responsibility for those things. But more importantly, let's get responsible about your feelings first. Because without that, any attempt to be responsible for what's happened in your life is just going to be, just smoke and mirrors. It's not, you're just going to do it because you think you should, not because you genuinely feel like you are responsible. So let's just look at how you're responsible for them, for your emotions and the meaning you place on those emotions. How are you responsible for your emotions and the meaning you place on them? One way to do this is to ask, how do you benefit from, okay, one of the emotions was despondency. How do you benefit from that despondency? Well, one way is if you say, oh, well, the reason why you got a job is because, why you didn't get a job is because you're not connected. Like this one guy, Mitch, like, your buddy, Mitch from college, he already has a great paying job. Is because you're not connected. Right, so that's, how does that serve you? Well, if you think that, then you're less likely to take action. You can be lazy and you can justify staying home and playing video games all day. Okay, now we have how you're responsible for that feeling. And all this, this is awareness, of course. And we're just refining the machine that is out in the world taking action. That's you. And then once you have this information, you iterate. Really need a new stand here. Oh, speak of it. Okay, I'm just gonna have to hold this up. Yeah, when we moved, I didn't realize it at first, but I think we got the worst movers of all time. Just lots of stuff is just broken randomly. You don't notice it at first, but then just like, how did this break? It must have broken in the move. So I gotta get a new, okay, that's okay, we'll make it work. I'll just hold it up with my knee in my hand. So you iterate, and you come back up and you iterate and you take more action. And then you just go through this process again and again, in which you're out in the world, becoming more aware. It's gonna make you take more action. I'm not saying you're gonna be Jeff Bezos, of course. But you're going to be way more likely to be more successful and to make more money. And that's what, this is success, at least from a psychological perspective. And you realize you're not making yourself into something you're not with this process. You're not becoming great. You're not imagining greatness. You're not telling yourself that you're like out there magnetically attracting money or anything like that. You're just becoming more honest about what's going on. That's it, right? And I think this is the ultimate belief about money, if you want to call it that. Of course, I don't want you to have this belief. I don't want yourself to make yourself have this belief. But naturally, when you work through this process, you're going to realize success is natural. It's actually the natural state. It is the natural state. Success is what happens when you work through your baggage, when you work through your insecurities and your resentments, those things that keep you from taking action in the world, or when you do take action, you don't do it in a very healthy way. You kind of do it like you're going to fail, and then everybody just thinks you're a weenie. I mean, if you work through this stuff, then success is the natural state. And that's the main takeaway. I think that's really the main goal of therapy, at least if we're talking about financial success. And this is what we can help you with here, right? I just shared with you a part of the therapy process. If you do this enough, you begin to see patterns. You begin to see how, your relational patterns with your mom, for instance, mimic or at least reflect relational patterns with sending out a resume. And then now you're talking with your mom, and you're not just talking with your mom and developing a good relationship there, but you're also working through resentment, insecurity, frustration issues that stand between you and money, that stand between you and making more refined action out in the world, whatever would be a good action for you. And this is what we can help you with. We do free consultations. I'm going to end this ASAP so I don't have to hold this up anymore. animusempire.com/schedule, or just send me an email. There's a contact form on the website. Thank you guys, and remember that, you know, therapy is probably not going to make you super rich or anything, but it will keep your life from becoming a tragedy.